Where we live and the places we spend our time help shape who we become. For me, this was Thousand Oaks. When I was young, I didn't really think much about the impact my community would make on me. Kind of seemed like my parents chose to live here and I was just along for the ride. Looking back, there were some very significant events that would help mold the man I would become. The first one being skateboarding. Every day after school, we would all meet at Borchard Park. That was one of the few places where we were able to skate, and it actually kept a lot of us out of trouble. As teenagers, we were trying to figure out who we were, and skateboarding helped bring out some of those undiscovered qualities. I learned about delayed gratification because skateboarding took so long to land a trick that I learned what it felt like to stick with something. I became resilient in my outlook of failure, and I started looking at the world through a very creative lens. Little did I know this would be the beginning of what would turn into a long and successful career as a pro skateboarder. I started getting highlighted on covers of magazines, traveling the world, and also was able to buy my first house at 22 years old. A week before I closed escrow, I ran into my neighbor who was home from college on her Christmas break. I saw her out front, I asked her out to dinner, and this would become another impactful moment in my life because years later, we would get married. One thing that I was and still am attracted to in my wife is how smart and driven she is. She has a bachelor's degree from Point Loma. She got an additional degree from FITM in interior design, which led to her ultimately creating her first design studio. We used to stay up at night talking about business, and it was actually her who encouraged me to create my first business outside of the skateboarding industry. In 2012, two of my friends and I started a craft brewery called St. Archer. We didn't have enough money to start the company between the three of us, so we went out, created a business plan, raised $2.5 million in a seed round to launch our business. Once we opened doors, we quickly became one of the fastest growing breweries in California, which eventually led to the sale of our company to Miller Coors. From there, I started a private equity real estate firm called Commune. The company's purpose is doing good by doing well, educating our community on finance through social media, and working to leave a lasting impact in the cities which we build or improve infrastructure. All of that was the easy part. The hardest and most rewarding thing in my life is being a dad. I have 10 and 7-year-old girls. My son is 2, and we're expecting a new one any day. And they are the main reason why I'm running for city council, because my wife and I are choosing to raise our kids in the community which we grew up in. We are working hard to instill the values that we had growing up, and we want them to be positively impacted like we were from their community. Enjoying open spaces and parks, to always feel safe when they're out. We want them to be inspired to create, to know the owners of the shops they go to, and to ultimately want to work or start business here in Thousand Oaks, with the ultimate goal of raising their kids in our community. This is a goal that many of us parents have, and I am the perfect person who shares our Thousand Oaks values and also has the skill set to lead our city in the right direction.